Hello. Hello. So we are live here. It's our first TED Talk. It's our first TED Talk. They are going to be every day this week, all the way through to Sunday. It's very exciting, and it's all about. It's our opportunity to just tell you everything that you might want to know about Tiny Talk, and about signing and everything that we do as an organisation. So it's very exciting. We're really excited about sharing what we get up to and everything. So it's a nice insight into classes. If it's something that you are looking into, then these talks are going to be really great for you guys. If not, and it's something maybe your friends have been interested in, then that would be great as well. So do let them know that it's going on. Yeah, that will be fantastic. That's all we need you to do, really. Let your friends know if there are other talks that they would like to come and join this week, and we will share everything with you over the course of the week. Lots and lots of fantastic information to share with you. So I'm going to get started. Our first TED Talk is all about how baby signing can benefit your child. So how signing is going to support your little one as they grow and they develop. Now, Tiny Talk, we use British Sign Language signs, BSL signs. Everything we do is based on that. We take away the grammar, so you don't need the kind of structural technicalities that come with the language as it develops. But BSL is a really simple basis for little ones to start to communicate. So we base our signs on BSL. It also means it's a language that is a life skill that we can transfer to speaking with people from the deaf community, as well as using with our little ones. So at Tiny Talk in our classes, we do signing. We do lots of singing, and we do lots of sensory activities as well, all specifically selected to develop and nurture the developmental stages that little ones go through. So they are all carefully selected so that they are perfect to support your baby's communication and development. And we probably all know that babies go through different development stages, and each one of the activities has opportunities at different ages to support their understanding and their comprehension, and also their visual and physical development as well. So we think very carefully about the activities that we do through our signing classes. So we do weekly classes with a familiar face as well, so you have a consistent class teacher for the class that you attend, and that's really useful for our little ones as well, having that familiar face, that recognisable feature, especially obviously with everything we've gone through with the lockdown as well. Having that familiar face for little ones is really beneficial. We become like an extended kind of part of their social circle, which is it's wonderful. And just seeing the photos that people send us of their little ones getting so excited when they see us on their TV, it's wonderful. So we do weekly classes, and they're all carefully selected plans based on topics that we know are going to be useful to babies, and to you as parents when you're looking after your little ones. So it might be things about family, it might be animals, it could be food, it could be going to the park. Lots and lots of different topics that we do each week that cover a whole range of signs over the course of a year, and that is really useful for your little ones to be able to absorb those things, and for you as well to be able to soak that in. Now Deb will talk a bit more about how it benefits you as a parent tomorrow, but I'm going to focus specifically on how signing can really support your child and your child's development. So we have communication skills. It's throughout everything we do in a Tiny Talk class. It's all about supporting them to become confident communicators, and it might be that could be encouraging them to make vocalizations. We do a lot of work on speech sounds as well, and that kind of activity is really useful to support them attempting those sounds and attempting that first effort to communicate. So vocalizing, it could be listening, having the opportunity to listen to somebody that is singing. And we have highly like great quality music that's been specially composed for Tiny Talk as well, that we use as a background feature for some of our sensory activities. So it's really good quality, and sometimes we just need the little ones to listen, and that's a really great learning opportunity for them as well, to just absorb what is going on. All of our songs we do without background music, It's the sensory activities that we sometimes have background music to support, and we encourage them to listen as part of that as well. We also make sure that we are providing opportunities for turn taking in the activities that we do, because that's a really important feature of us as human beings. We understand as grown-ups that we need to take turns in conversation, for example, and being able to support little ones in doing that, in taking turns, is really useful for them as well. And you find that babies, even before they can speak or sign, will often they'll often speak, for want of a better word. They'll often make some conversation sounds in between. So if you give them a moment to answer back, they'll probably try. They'll probably have a good effort at making some kind of sounds towards you. And that's even at the smallest age. That is encouraging conversation and in helping them to learn the structure of conversation. So that's a really, really wonderful skill that we all have, as most people have as grown-ups. It's a really good foundation for them to build on as little ones, as they grow. So that is really important to us. So communication skills, that is just at the core of what we do. But we're also about encouraging their senses as well. So that might be visual tracking, for example, following the motion of a scarf. Object permanence as well, that's something that's really important for them to learn, and we encourage that. But visual tracking supports the development of the eye muscles. That's something they're going to need for signing and for talking as well, and having conversations and looking at different things that they are interested in. So something simple like developing those eye muscles is really built into what we do in our TinyTalk classes as well. Hand-eye coordination as well, getting them to think about using their hands, whether that's clapping and waving, or more complex things when they come to actually building, creating their signs for the first time as well. Also fine motor skills as well. When they're signing, they're using their fingers and their thumbs and all their hands, and they're really developing those fine motor skills, which a lot of children lack, partly because of the screens that children can often be on. So developing that and nurturing that, the signing, is really useful for them, because that's going to mean that their fine motor skills are being supported as well. There's also opportunities for gross motor skills, particularly as they grow and they go into the toddler classes as well. But again, Deb will talk a bit more about toddlers and how signing and our classes can support toddlers. So signing babies can tell you what they're thinking before they can talk. That's amazing. How many new parents go, I just don't know what they want. I don't know why they're crying. I don't know what it is. And we've all been there as parents. You have those moments where you don't understand. But once your little one can start signing back to you, and that happens way before they are able to talk to you, you can ease some of that frustration and some of those lack of understanding from them. And once they feel understood, they are delighted that they are understood. They will become more confident. With this, signing babies become more confident communicators. They understand conversation. I mean, my little one is 2.5 now, but we were having signed conversations from probably 9 months, maybe a little bit earlier, far before he could actually talk and form proper words, which was it was so enriching for me as a parent, for us. It was just wonderful to be able to have that conversation with a baby. And I'd always kind of thought, oh, they don't really do much until they can talk and run around. But I was so wrong. Having a window into his world at such a young age was just a game changer, and it simply was the best thing we did for him in terms of his development as a parent, which is remarkable. So yeah, signing babies can tell you what they want before they can talk. They can tell you how they're feeling. They can tell you what they're looking at, and draw your attention to something. Being understood can ease that frustration. It can reduce the tantrums that we might experience. It's just such a simple way, because most behaviour is communication, isn't it? So being able to sign and talk through in a signed language what it is that they're upset about or that is bothering them can really support easing that frustration that they might otherwise feel if they're not understood. We'd all be frustrated if we were in another country and we couldn't speak the language and nobody understood, and they were doing something we didn't want, or they weren't giving us a drink when we wanted one, or we were hungry, or whatever it was. We'd feel that frustration, and I can imagine that would be how a baby would feel if they weren't able to express themselves and communicate. That it also supports their understanding of language. and being able to express themselves. So their comprehension of language as well. I mean, that was one of the first things we noticed with our little boy. We started taking him to signing classes when he was about 8 or 10 weeks old, something like that. By the time he was 4 months old, he made his first sign. We had a little break. He didn't do any more for a couple of months, but then suddenly they all came out. But we were able, between the kind of the ages of about, I would say maybe 12 weeks through to about that kind of 4 months sort of phase, his comprehension suddenly, you could tell when you were signing with him and talking to him that he understood a lot of what we were talking about, which was just remarkable for us. A real game changer. And yeah, and from then on, his comprehension has always been really up there. And now that he is talking, and he doesn't stop talking, which is wonderful, his vocabulary is so extensive. It's just really, really rich. And I definitely put that down to the fact that we talk to him routinely, just as everything that we do, we just talk him through, and we sign. We signed with him from such an early age, and we supported his communication with us through TinyTalk signing, which was, yeah, like I say, incredible. Now, a lot of people think it's signing or speech, and that signing might distract from speech, but we didn't find that with Orion at all. We found, so with TinyTalk, we see it, say it, sign it. It comes hand in hand. The signing and the speech goes hand in hand together. We didn't do it separately. You always say the sign you say the word for the sign, and that really supports little ones to understand the words that go with it as well. So they don't just simply sign back. You'll often find that signing babies will attempt those initial speech sounds. So it might be that they're making the m sign for when they're signing mummy to accompany it. So they will try and do both, and you'll find that whichever one they are, they will lean on the other one when they're not quite sure how to do it. So speech often will support signing, and signing will often support speech, but we use both because we know it's important that they have the words for the things that they are seeing. So with Orion, I would say, I mean, his understanding was incredible really, really early on. We had conversations before he could even talk, which was just incredible for us. His vocabulary is really, really strong. We had a really, really strong connection and relationship with him, and everybody around us that signed with him also felt the benefit of that as well, because when they were able to communicate with him in a way that was accessible on his level, it meant that he felt included and connected with them in a way that was much richer than for those people who weren't signing with him, or that weren't around to do that. He felt understood. He was much more able to communicate his emotions, and he felt like he had a bit more kind of control over how things went in his day as well, because he could contribute. He could actually tell us what it was that he wanted to do or where he wanted to go, which was just, it makes your life easier as a parent as well, which I know that Debs is going to spend a bit more time on. So yeah, from our experience with Orion, I became a TinyTalk teacher because I could see what it did for Orion, and how confident he became as a communicator, and how he just developed this mastery of signing. And in fact, he went from, so we started classes with him between about 8 and 10 weeks, and by the time before he started speaking properly, he had massed more than 200 signs that he could do. Now, 200 signs is just a phenomenal amount of signing, and you can imagine how much easier that was for us as parents as well, for him to be able to know that he could communicate with us and that we understood him and we would be able to respond to the things that he was telling us. Even now he's very articulate at telling us how he's feeling, what he would like to do, and we've consistently had this communication. It's just been really rich, a really nurtured, considered relationship between us as parents and with him, because we've signed. It's simply, for us, that's what it came down to. So that, from my perspective and from a TinyTalk perspective, is how baby signing can benefit your child. If you have any questions, do let us know. Just pop them in the comments, or send us a message and we will let you know. But there are other TinyTalk TED Talks over the course of this week. So for example, we've got how can TinyTalk benefit you as a parent as well. We've focused quite heavily on Orion and the impact impact it has on little ones, but also how it can benefit you as a parent. It's extensive. I could tell you lots about that as well, but Deb's going to do that tomorrow. What makes Tiny Talk different from other groups? What it's like to sign with a toddler, because we do baby classes, newborn classes, and toddler classes. So what's signing with a toddler? How is that different to signing with a baby? What's the place of signing in a multilingual family, for example? And signing as a stepping stone to speech. Get that one out. That's a good tongue twister. Signing as a stepping stone to speech. And from room to world, looking at newborn communication and signing as well. So lots to tune into over the course of the week. This live and all the others will be left on our page as well. So if you want to come back and have a little look, or you want to share them with any friends, do that as well. And let us know if you have any questions or want to know more. Thanks a lot, guys. See you soon. Bye.